Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Yeah, it's been a while, I think about over a week ago since we uploaded our last video. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, with your friends who are also in trading. This is one of the most simplest strategy, ICC. The concept comes from Trades by Side. You can check him on his YouTube channel. Yeah, pretty much today I'm just gonna be talking about, gonna be explaining market structure when it comes to ICC and what to look for. And if you are someone who likes to be in the markets every day and actually how you can fully take advantage of these markets. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I always also get a question about, what if price is on a consolidation or, what if price is not coming back to correct on a higher time frame, but, it's continuing. It's not coming back to correct this, but it's continuing, right? So I'm just gonna be breaking down some of those things, some of those, situations where like how to actually, take advantage of them and then ensure that you're actually getting the most out of, your trades, right? So I think one of those things that we all know is that, for you to be able to trade ICC, your analysis should at least start from the 4 hour or the 1 hour. But ideally, so I would highly recommend that you start from the 4 hour and then the 1 hour. Reason is being that, I'm gonna be getting into it right now, right? So you would find out that previously you did have a high and a higher low, on the 4 hour, and then price ended up going to create the higher high and then coming back to correct, and before you can shoot up to the upside, whether it's correcting above or into the previous, higher range high between the high and the low, and then before you shoot to the upside, it doesn't matter, right? So one of the things that most people end up doing is that they end up getting caught. How do they get caught, right? So if the trend is happening on the 4 hours as the higher time frame and the indication came from the 4 hours, the higher time frame, some of the things that we tend to overlook is the internal structure, because if everything is coming from the 4 hour, that should mean that the internal structure as prices, was obviously, pushing from these lows, from these highs to these lows and starting to break back up. Price on the 1 hour, this is what price was doing. You get what I'm saying? Price is giving you those higher highs and higher lows in most cases, which is one of the things that are currently happening now on gold. If it might not even correct at this level, even if some might have corrected, came back to these levels and then started to build up just like this to the upside. And some it didn't even correct. This is what it just did, and it started to build back up to the upside, making those highs and these lows and whatever the case may be. You get what I'm saying? So this here over here, what you see here, it actually ends up being the internal structure. This can either even be the 1 hour overall, because now this is the indication on the 4 hour, but this is happening on the 1 hour. Get what I'm saying? The indication on the 4 hour, and then the internal structure becomes the 4 hour. And then with the 4 hour, with the 1 hour also, you find that there's also gonna be another internal structure within it, right? You're gonna find another internal structure within, the 1 hour that is currently the 15 minute, which makes up the 1 hour, right? You find that the 15 minute was also in between that also. Get what I'm saying? So that's the market structure concept, but you need to have in mind that anything that is happening on the bigger time frame is also gonna be happening on a smaller time frame. You get what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. You get me? So, nonetheless, that will also be happening also on a right on the another internal structure will be happening also being the 15 minute. You get what I'm saying? So those are just some of the things that you can be able to be in a point like, okay, how do I then end up taking, entries? How do I know what to do? It's all these kind of things, right? So I'm just gonna, show you something, right? So currently we have something like this of this nature. We have something like this of this nature with gold currently, right? We had price actually eventually broke up to the upside, right? So we had this swing point over here, which ended up being the all-time high, which ended up getting taken out. But then we have the internal structure, which ended up being looking like something like this, um, the internet structure ended up looking like something like this, right? You get what I'm saying? So how do you take advantage of this situation, right? This is what the internal structure actually looks like on gold, right? How do you then take advantage of this, in terms of, the overall how to trade this, right? So now that you know that this is happening on the 4 hour, overall we had this previous higher high, right? On the 4 hour, and then we had this previous higher low. This is where the range is sitting, right? This higher high and this higher low, right? So, as you can see, price is busy with an indication currently on gold, right? How do you then take advantage of these situations, right? How do you then take advantage where you like, okay, should I be able to, to be able to get entries and all those kind of things, right? So we're gonna break down the internal structure. This internal structure is actually happening on the 1 hour, right? So we have price has just broken above these, giving us a break of structure. You get what I'm saying? Because um yeah, break of structure. Because in some other pairs, price didn't, there was a week that happened. Price didn't correct all the way through, right? There was a week that actually did something like this on gold, but this was not, for me, it was not a correction because on the 4 hours, we had, price coming to correct these levels over here, internal structure. That was, this the equal highs which were made before price actually started to build up to the upside. Price came to correct and then shot to the upside. So I was expecting at this price to come and correct back to this level, right? If price was gonna make an overall correct, if price is gonna make an overall correction, I am expecting it to correct back into this level before we can start looking for buys, from either these, if price breaks above this. But honestly, I would just wanna be above where the indication is. But also this is still part of the indication as price had broken, above it before it broke the previous overall, range highs, which were there. You know what I'm saying? So for you to be able to know that you don't get caught up in on the wrong side of the market is to understand the current structure. So we have this indication which ended up happening on the 1 hour on gold after the price had just made some sort of consolidation, at a price yesterday also. We had price also making that high, and then also price eventually ended up doing somewhat like this. We also made another break of structure. You get what I'm saying? But in terms of the correction, I didn't see the correction because price ended up making these, this high low over here. It didn't come to correct these levels over here on the 1 hour. So price ended up making another break of structure to the upside. Remember, all of this is still part of the indication on the 4 hour from this all-time high that we had on the higher high. This is what's happening. This is still part of the internal structure, right? Even though the internal structure is giving you those indications, you get what I'm saying? So I'm seeing that price would come and correct back to these levels over here, or just correct to these levels, or just break these high lows and then started to build back and correct back to these levels. You get what I'm saying? And then before that, you can starting to look for buys for price to go to the upside. There's a lot of possibilities of what price can do. You get what I'm saying? So these are some of the things then how you can fully take advantage of it. If price would have came back to correct back to these levels on the 1 hour or the 15 minute, your entries would have obviously came from over here. You continue to take the buys because the 1 hour, as much as all of this is happening on the 1 hour, the 4 hours is still part of the indication, and the 1 hour is giving you indications, giving high highs and high lows. You can fully take advantage of that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You get what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with doing that. Because as so far, price on the 1 hour, price is showing and price is bullish. But also you understand where you are in terms of the 4 hour overall, like okay, this is the indication in the 1 hour. So you don't get surprised when price starts to sell to the downside and you don't end up getting caught because you wanna sell from these levels because of the 1 hour. You're like, okay, but price gave us an indication on the 1 hour, so I'm gonna be looking to sell price to the downside, you know. without realizing that actually this was part of the correction. So now price is gonna eventually start going to the upside. So you don't get up getting caught on the wrong side of the market because this was what was happening on the 4 hour. You get what I'm saying? And price people were looking to, sell price based off, buy price based off that. You end up getting the selling price, which you end up getting caught. Which you end up getting caught because you were looking to sell price to the downside, which price ended up going to the upside. But without realizing that the 4 hour was the one which was the one actually in control of what's happening. You get what I'm saying? So it's just some of the things that you can be able to take from it. Like the internal structure will even continue to do what it does, regardless. So you can take advantage of the internal structure, even when price starts to, you know, break the high lows, giving lower lows and lower highs. That is still the internal structure. Price is now busy with the correction, right? Price is gonna be busy with the correction, starting to correct price, right? You can eventually sell price when you want, depending on your trading style or whatever you choose to use. You can sell price back to the correction levels, right? Because we had a shifting market structure, price giving lower lows and lower highs from making high highs and high lows. Price is correcting back to the 4 hour levels. The 1 hour is starting to get bearish, but the 4 hour is still bullish overall. So now you need the correlation. The correlation comes into play. You take it back to the upside again, all over again. Get what I'm saying? So it's a game of understanding where you are in terms of ICC. I feel like side doesn't get too much into this a lot. It's dropping free knowledge, of course. That's for sure. But when it comes to the mentorship side of it, it doesn't really drop this a lot in terms of to help you guys in most cases. But this is what goes on through the mentorship that we have on the Hustle University. We're not selling a course. This is to teach you market structure, to even to the smallest form, where even from the 1 hour, you're still going to be having the internal structure, which will be the 15 minute. Even on the 15 minutes, you're still going to be having the internal structure, which will be the 1 minute and the 5 minute. So it's just to let you unpack all of those things and understanding how you can fully take advantage of it, right? We have the overall side entry that we all know, like the ICC, the original ICC entry, which will be this price creates a higher low, comes back above this market, you can buy price. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the entries. And then secondly, we have, if you're still struggling with the market structure, we have this entry where like, okay, you can be aiming for 1:1. This is basically going to be a 1:1 entry, where you're like, okay, I'm going to be, wait, because price is giving the indication, I'm going to have a buy stop waiting here. So my stop loss is going to just be below the high lows of the overall trend. And then I'm going to be, whether price is going to come back almost, or make equal lows, whatever the case may be, you're not going to be affected. Your trade is not going to be taken out based on your risk to reward. That's whatever you're going to be, this is better than taking 23 trades a day. Unnecessary trades where you end up losing, you blowing up your account. You get what I'm saying? This is, the only time you get to get this wrong is when price actually makes a shift in market structure and then indicates to the downside, which now indicates that price will come back and correct and then continue to downside. And now the overall trend, even from the higher time frame, has shifted. So you don't have to worry. Now you make your trading as easy as possible. You get what I'm saying? So going also to, the other one that we do have, one of the entries that we do have is the entry where, the correlation comes into play. You get what I'm saying? So which means now on the 15 minute, you want to see price eventually making higher highs and higher lows. Because the 15 minute is where you find entries 15 and 5 minutes, depending on the time frame. You can find the entry on the 5, but even on the 5, 15, even on the 15 or the 1 minute. You get what I'm saying? So you want to see price breaking above the level of indication with a clear close candle of a higher high, and then price having to create a higher low, and then you can use that to just get our 1:3. And even with the internal structure on the 1 hour that will be happening, you can still even take advantage of it as it continues to go up to the outside. And still be taking this 1:3. I don't need to take all of this to the move to the outside. No, I just need to take my 1:3 and I'm out. This is my 1:3 and I'm out. You get what I'm saying? And I'm out of the trade. Should price do the same thing again, give an indication, probably give an indication from these highs, come back and correct, and then continue going to the upside. I mean, bro, still the same thing again. I'm still gonna be looking for the same thing in terms of the internal structure, right? price will obviously break above this level, right? Doing what? Making higher highs and higher lows, right? Price will break higher highs and higher lows, higher high, higher low, price to the upside, right? That's what price will do on the 5 minutes, 15, bro. This is what I do. Again, higher high, higher low, in correlation with the 1 hour, in correlation with the 4 hour, right? Price would have made also higher high, also came back to the higher low, right? And then my 1:3, as you can see, my 1:3 would be somewhat like this. There you have it. You see, as price continues to the upside, that would be what I would be taking advantage of, depending on what type of trading you want to be trading. You get what I'm saying? So remember, we would have had a market starts to shift over here, right? So is those things, is taking understanding those things, like what to fully take advantage of and what not to endure all those kind of things. Get what I'm saying? So we do have a perfect life example here actually on on German 30, right? For on the 4 hour, this is how price looks like, right? This is a broad price it looked like on the 4 hour. Let me just delete everything on the bottom. Uh, Let me just do this as well. Yeah. On the 4 hour, this what price had looked like before, right? So I'm gonna be starting new. All right. I want you to see this. I've explained this before. There's a video of that. You can watch it of how I made I think $5,000 with DEX, with German data, right? So this is what the previous high and high low on the 4 hour. Price broke above that, giving us an indication to the upside. This is what was happening on the 4 hour. So now you go to the 1 hour. Now you tend to look at the internal structure of the 1 hour, right? Price broke above, made a higher and a higher low, right? And then from this higher high and higher low, this is what the price ended up doing. Price ended up giving us an indication above the price indication can be correct, didn't go all the way through and then broke above this level, right? And when you look at this level where price had actually also broken from, right? From these levels over here, I can assure that on the 15-minute, price had looked somewhat different. Price was breaking above this level, making higher highs and higher lows, as you can see, and then price ended up going to the upside before it eventually coming back to the downside. You get what I'm saying? So that is still part of the internal structure. Whatever you choose to do with it, it's all up to you. And price continued to go to the upside from those levels overall. Get what I'm saying? And price broke above this level again using higher highs and higher lows. As you can see, you could have easily fully taken advantage of that level also again, right? Higher highs, higher lows. Sometimes we really higher lows created. 1:3. There you have it, right? Still part of the internal structure, which is still part of the indication that is happening on the higher time frame. You get what I'm saying? It's still part of the indication that is happening on the higher time frame. It's just a matter of understanding where you are. Now we have the 1 hour. This is how again we look on the 1 hour, right? Price was doing that, right? Was doing all of that. Even if you were still wanted to be above this consolidation or whatever the case may be, you would have still got an entry. I think you would have still got an entry. 15, not really sure, but under 5 there was an entry there. There you have it. Price broke above this level, making higher, higher, higher low to the outside, right? Fully taking advantage of that is still part of the indication on the 4 hour, but that is part of the continuation on the 1 hour based on what that hour is doing. as part of, price continuing to rise because we don't know how far the indication is willing to go, right? Until price gets to a certain level where price now, high low was made, price breaks to the downside, breaks that, goes back and correct, and then to the downside. Now this is where things start to get interesting because now a higher low was made, makes a lower high, and then makes a lower low, right? It's a lower low. And then that's when we were able to take price also to the downside as part of the correction. Because now, when you drop down to the likes of 15, you could clearly see that also even on the 15 minute, price had broken below that very same level, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low. I mean, higher high, higher high, lower low, lower high. And then this was, you know, more or less what has happened. If you were trading the ICC entry, it would have still been that. If you were trading the one to one, if your stop loss would have just been above these, in terms of, how you wanna trade the one to one, just like I showed you earlier, would have been somewhat like this. And then your TP would have got hit. Whether you were taking this, and also if you would have taken like, okay, whatever price does from the year would be a new indication also, right? Should price come back and correct also, you would have another stoppages above the lower highs, triggered TP 1:1, another 1:1. See, this 1:1 was hit, right? All right, so sorry about that. I had to answer that call. But as you can see, even with the 1:1, you could see that I already had, placed, my entry to stop it above the lower highs created. This is all happening on the 1 hour. This is all happening based off the 1 hour as price is correcting to the downside. You get what I'm saying? Right? We had a shift in market structure happening also from these levels on the 15 minute. That is not correcting this. Now this is continuing. So you don't end up getting caught because now you're gonna be like, oh, maybe this is correct, no correction, so I'm gonna sell it. You're gonna get caught because look what price ended up doing. And we made $5,000 out of this trade. We made $5,000 out of this trade. It's just understanding where you are in terms of ICC, which is very, 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 very important. It's very, very important. And this is happening too many times. What I would have taken a 1:1 in terms of, I'm stop loss being below here, and then, would have had a, buy stop waiting over here. But my 1:1 would have still hit also. 1:1, second 1:1, third 1:1, right? Even now, this is still part of the indication over here. What you're seeing there, still part of the indication. Price was giving an indication of from the 4 hour. Now the 1 hour, this is what the 1 hour was looking like, right? This is what the 1 hour was looking like. Indications correction. This is still part of the indication on the 4 hour. But price was giving indications correction, and you can fully see, you can take advantage of price as price is doing that also. Understanding that price is giving an indication on the 4 hour. This is an indication on the 4 hour. You see? This is all an indication on the 4 hour because price is just broken these higher highs. This is all an indication on the 4 hour. But now, price on the 1 hour is doing something different because this was an indication, price making high highs and high lows, breaking these high highs so that you can fully take advantage of them. Because even from just an example to this level over here, price had broken about these highs. When you drop down to legs of 15 minutes, this is how price was looking like, right? Indication correction, right? And then down to the 5 minute, this is how price ended up making something, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, high low, right? Price started to build up. And then, as you can see, price broke above this, highs over here, high, 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 low. 1 to 3 hours, there's no need for me to take it to the upside just like this. If I would have been trading a 1 to 1, it would have looked something like this. 1 to 1, stop loss would have been, below this 1 hour lows over here. This lows over here, and then number 1 to 1 would have just been somewhat over here. And this would have what price would have done eventually. Another indication. And then if I would have been waiting for price, I would have been waiting for price also similar, top loss below the high lows, and then my 1 to 1 would have been somewhat like that. You get what I'm saying? That's how you can take advantage if you're struggling with understanding market structure. If you're struggling with this, in the meantime, while you learn that, but you can be able to get this 1 to 1 trade. Most people like, but the 1 to 1 is not enough. It is enough. It is enough. Start with $100. Flip your account every single time. Your full account every single time. Five of these 1 to 1s down the line, you are up 1 to 32 RR. If you start with $1,000, you're gonna be up 1 to 32,000. Like, bro, you will be making $32,000 after 5 successful flips of the whole account. You get what I'm saying? Just from understanding, bro, what works for you, what works best for you, not forcing things, none of those things. What works best with trading? I'm sure I'm giving you the source here, man. I'm giving you the source, honestly. It's all up to you what you choose to do with it, right? It's all up to you what you choose to do with it, right? So now we do have price on the 1 hour. Eventually, the 1 hour ended up breaking the high lows, right? So this is one of the analysis that we've made since last week. Like, we want to see price come back to correct these 4 hour levels over here. That price is giving indication. Price has to come back. Same way that price giving indication came back to correct. Price giving indication and it has to come back and correct these levels. You know what I'm saying? So on the 1 hour, this is how price is looking like. Price eventually started to break the high lows, making a lower low, lower high, and then we're looking to take price to downside. So when I see price eventually start to give us, lower lows and lower highs as price continues to down to the downside. The same way we have taken up opportunities going to the upside with the indication is the same way now we're gonna be looking to take opportunities to the downside with the correction because this correction is part of the internal structure of what the overall 4 hour structure has given us. So now the 4 hour is still part of the internal structure, which will mean from the 1 hour, the 1 hour is gonna be part of the internal structure of the 4 hour, which would mean from the 1 hour down to the 5 minute and 1 minute, that will be the internal structures. So now you will need to correlate everything with the 1 hour for you to get with the correction, which would mean you will be selling. The price will be, the trend will be on a downtrend, whereas is correcting on the overall time frame, which is the 4 hour. And then from there, we will need to have some shift in market structure on the 1 hour for price to start being bullish and get everything else bullish and then get going with the continuation. So if you're gonna be having maybe a buy limit waiting for price at this level, and then stop loss would be below these high lows here, the ones previous high lows here, and then you'll be looking to make a 1 to 1. This is what it look like. But if you're aiming for these highs, you're getting more of a 1 to 2. But if you're gonna be trading a size entry, you need price to probably correct into create and then start breaking above these levels, and then obviously your stop loss would be something like this, and then probably this is what you will be aiming for. So just depending on what you choose to do, it will be that. And then if you're going to be trading the MSC concept, which is the market the correlation, this is going to be your trade. Your TP would look somewhat obviously from those levels, understanding where you're going to be getting it also, and then depending on the time frame that you'll be using for to get that entry, you would then be looking to make something of this nature. So pretty much that's how you can fully take advantage of these trades and then get in on with them and then make something out of them. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, guys, that's how you can fully, enhance your trading when it comes to ICC and then taking advantage of these markets. So that's a quick glimpse on gold. Just like I said, that was currently what was happening on gold. Um, More or less the same thing. From the 4 hours, price had broken above. Price had broken above. Also from the internal structure that was building up, price broken above, and then this was also what's happening. So we're taking the full on indication because that's what's happening. We're gonna be all of this is still part of the indication also above. Also from this internal structure that was made, this is still part of the indication that is happening. So I spoke about this because I'm not sure about this because price had just rejected even on the 15 minute. This is a rejection. So I'm not really sure about it, but I foresee price coming back to correct to these levels and then pushing to the upside. So from here, price has been doing that, broke above. It's still also part of the indication. So when I see price coming to correct probably these levels and continuing with making all-time highs before price can actually come back and correct these 4 hour levels. You get what I'm saying? So we have that higher high and the higher low over there. So this is part of the correction. I mean the indication. So we need price to also get to its highest point if it comes in correct, and then you can look to get price to go to the upside. You get what I'm saying? So, and then continue going back to the upside. So we'll just see what price is doing, and then you can fully take advantage of that also. But also on the 1 hour, like I said, the 1 hour also because the current the current trend was happening. We need because price didn't correct also from breaking the size over here. So we have a new indication. So expect price to come back and correct, and then you can look to take price to the upside. So overall, that's what we have. So guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. And then yeah, thank you very much. We're gonna be having also a link to our new Telegram group and then also our Discord group. If you wanna be part of the mentorship and where we can break down these structures, understanding ICC, from a market structure level, also being able to spot those opportunities and trading what you see, how to trade what you see, not what you think the market is showing you, but actually what the market is showing you. And then, yeah, pretty much, man. So, yeah, thank you very much, guys. Have a good day. Bye.